Okay, so now let's discuss and highlight some best moments of Italian Championship. Of course, I mean Serie A, because who cares about Serie B? Only about those three teams that advance to Serie A, but I will not touch this in this specific video. So here is the final tournament table after the end of the tournament. So as you can see, let's again start from the top to the bottom, from the core. I've forgotten. Napoli has won their title once again. Not many years has passed since they have last done it with Luciano Spalletti as their head coach. So now Napoli won their title again. But this was a hell of a battle with Inter Milano. And Napoli won this even though they had some advantage, but after they have played draws with Genoa and Parma, Inter had their chances if they could have won over Lazio, but unfortunately for them, they couldn't. And Inter was very close to actually winning this title, but they had a couple of losses in a couple of games in a row, and that resulted in Napoli taking over and not letting go the title in the end. So if we look at the final battle of those teams in the last match day, so Inter won over Como. De Vries scored on the 20th minute, and Pepe Reina got a yellow card for the fall of the last hope. And then Correa scored the second goal in the second half, and Inter won that game. But that all didn't matter because Scott McTominay scored in the game of Napoli versus Cagliari, and then also Lukaku scored the second goal, and Napoli won the title. So those games played on Friday, because those like the back-to-back games, so to speak. And regarding other games, as you can see, there was a huge battle for the Champions League. Atalanta, even though they had okay, let's not do this. First, Napoli. Napoli played basically only in Italian Championship because they did not qualify for Eurocups from the last season's championship. And they had just only that tournament, especially after they were eliminated from the Italian Cup. So they just needed to concentrate and win this title. And it was kind of challenging for them, but they managed to do it in the end. Inter, on the other hand, participated in Italian Cup, straight to the semi-final. They also participated in Super Cup and Champions League. So even though Simone Inzaghi has lots of good players, I can also say that he has almost two identical squads. So his first squad and second squad, they are pretty much decent, but they had a very rough season in terms of having too many games. Even though Italian Serie A is not an English Premier League and the number of games is pretty much close to this, but English Premier League, English teams have more like trophies, cups, EFL cups, and also more trophies and thus more games. So yeah, Inter participated in all of those tournaments. Inter will be playing in Champions League final versus PSG, and I can say they were pretty desperate before that game versus Barcelona because they have lost a couple of games in Serie A, but they have shaken everything that was on their shoulders, pulling them down. They just shook it off and decided to uh, show their best performance, and they defeated Barcelona in the total. Those were two wonderful games. I enjoyed every minute of it, of them both. So yeah, that was amazing. If we talk about the cup, Inter has lost to Milano. their rivals, and yeah, Milano has lost in the final to Bologna, which we will talk about a little bit later. Here I can also say that Atalanta had a great season. Gasperini has created a wonderful team uh, with the rise of Charles de Ketelare and also uh, wonderful performances from Adamova Lukman and Retegui. So yeah, that's a wonderful season from Atalanta. And even though they have failed to fight for the title, they have managed to um, get the third place and easily managed to qualify for the Champions League for the next season. So their last game versus Parma had just a little need to potentially fight for their survival. And the game was pretty much decent, even though Maldini scored two goals. Yeah, that's that son of Paolo Maldini. You all know and love if you are as young in heart as me. So yeah, and after that, Parma put on field Ondrejka, and Ondrejka made and Hainaut. So Hainaut scored one of the goals from of Parma just 3 minutes after getting on the pitch, and Ondrejka scored two goals in the 71st and 91st minutes, securing the very important victory for Parma, because for Atalanta that game actually didn't matter a lot. And even though they have made five shots on target, basically four of them in the first half. So as you can see, in the second half, Parma just demolished Atalanta with six shots on target, 11 shots in total. So XG was 1.87, total XG is 2.81. So yeah, Parma made a wonderful performance, and they deserved that victory, no doubt about that. Juventus changed the coach, and it was a really hard season for old Signora. But in the end, they have won in the games that they needed to against Monza. They played draw with Bologna and Lazio, and they have won over Udinese, and most important game versus Venezia. Venezia, who had a really slim chance of survival, but still they fought for it till the end. And in this final game, Fila scored on the second minute, then Costa scored on the 7th minute for Juventus, but the goal was ruled out through the handball. Then Kenau Yildiz and Colomoni scored two goals, and Juventus was having a lead. Then Habs scored an equalizer, and Juventus managed to score only from penalty. Locatelli made the final shot, and in the end, Juventus won, and Juventus will be playing in Champions League next season. Roma. You all know this story about Roma. Their only defeat since Claudio Ranieri's arrival was to Atalanta, and despite that loss, they have well deserved their position in Eurocups. But if not for that loss, that could have been Champions League. But Roma will be playing in Europa League group phase, and I think it's a good final for their season, which was going very much in the wrong way starting from the beginning. So yeah, that's what I can say about Roma. And before going to Fiorentina, I want to talk about Bologna, who deserved their Europa League uh, group stage position for the next season. They have played their first season in Champions League. I cannot say much about that because it was pretty much forgettable, nothing super serious. They were like feeling trembles on their feet and their legs, so they were not showing their greatest results. But it's a young team with first season debut in Champions League, and even though just look at their five last games this season: 0-0 with Udinese, draw with Juventus, lost 3-1 to Milano, even though they were leading in that game and then made the revenge in the Italian Cup. Then they have lost to Fiorentina and to Genoa. So if they wouldn't have lost to Genoa, they could have potentially made it to the um, sixth place. Potentially, I don't know. I will not check how they played with Fiorentina and Lazio in total because it doesn't make any sense for now. But Bologna had their chances. They were in the Euro Cups. They couldn't qualify through the regular championship, but they made it through the Italian Cup. And in Italian Cup, yes, they have won over Milan in the final. So Milan will not see Euro Cups next season, even though they were playing pretty decent uh, cup road. But Bologna also they have defeated Atalanta as for starters, and yeah, if we talk about more opponents of Bologna. Monza is not a decent opponent, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, it was still a great season for Bologna in terms of going through the and winning the cup. So yeah, they are in the Europa League next season. Fiorentina. Well, what I can say about Fiorentina, in the first Conference League season, they did not participate in Euro Cups, and after that, they have tried a lot to actually get the trophy. And I think it's pretty much the best result for them in terms of getting their first trophy, because just look at this season 22-23, they have lost to the West Ham in the final of Conference League. Yeah. Then next season they have lost after extra time in the final again of the Conference League to Olympiacos. And this season they were super close, but they have lost in the semifinal to Betis. I think it's their chance to from the first try to actually get the freaking Conference League trophy. It's much better if they would have, for example, qualified for the Europa League, because honestly, they need to finally close this gestalt with Conference League tournament. So yeah, I think it's better for Fiorentina this way. And their final game was versus Udinese, and Udinese scored first in this 26th minute. Then they were remained 10-11 against Fiorentina. Fagioli at the beginning of the second half scored an equalizer. Then Camuzzo scored the second goal. 11 minutes later, then Cabaleza scored an equalizer for Udinese, and Moise Kean, the hero of the season, scored the goal from the Gosens' assist on the 82nd minute, and Fiorentina qualified to Conference League. They had wonderful performances with lots of teams this season. They have defeated Inter. They were the first team in the Italian Championship that defeated Inter, if I'm not mistaken, this season. So yeah, they have showed great effort versus Napoli, versus Milano, Roma, Atalanta. So yeah, Fiorentina at home, they were playing like beasts, and they well deserved the Euro Cup position. And I think Conference League is the best for them. Even though just look at this defeat from Venezia, but just add 3 points, it still be 68. So no, there's no chance for Fiorentina to advance higher. But they had a wonderful season, and I was really satisfied with their game performances. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Lazio, they had a very rough season. Um, it was like a middle season for them. Not bad, not good, but in the end, they did not qualify for the Euro Cup. So you can say that this season is mostly not the best for them. And the reason for that, they have lost to Lecce. Just look at those results. Draw with Parma, they won over Empoli. Draw with Juventus, draw with Inter. They have refused Scudetto for Inter in that game. And then this defeat to Lecce actually costed them Euro Cups, but Lecce, on the other hand, survived. Yes, this was the final intrigue, and Empoli needed to win over Verona to have any chances of staying in the Serie A. But even though they actually tried their best in this game, Verona scored first, but they scored an equalizer, and only on the 69 minutes, Verona scored the final goal. Even Solbakken couldn't help Empoli stay in the Serie A for the next season. So yeah, Empoli is relegated together with Venezia and long ago Monza. So yeah, regarding Milano, I cannot say that this season was a disappointment. They have just lost to Roma. If they could have won this game, they would have taken Fiorentina's place in the Conference League. But Roma with Claudio Ranieri as the head coach is became a real machine and deserved their Europa League spot next season. So yeah, Milan under Sergio Conceição, who debuted uh, with the Super Cup, winning over Juventus, and of course against Inter. That was an incredible game. Inter was leading 2-0, and Milano won their first trophy real quick. And also Conceição was very close in the Italian Cup final against Bologna, but Bologna took their title and their Europa League spot away from Milano. So yeah, as for other teams like Como, Torino, Udinese was it had a very good start, but in the end they just couldn't do anything serious, any serious damage to other teams. They just knew that they will not relegate, and they just dropped playing. Same goes for Genoa in the second half of the season. Verona, Cagliari, Parma, Lecce, Empoli, and Venezia, they were fighting for not relegating, and Empoli and Venezia lost that battle altogether with Monza. We will not see them next season. So yeah, that's what I can say about Italian Championship. Here are the main games. Yeah, that defeat from Lazio to Lecce. Milan won over Monza, but that actually didn't really matter. So that's what I wanted to say. And yeah, Fiorentina will just watch over TV. Betis Chelsea, the final battle for them. So yeah, hoping to see great results in the next season. Meanwhile, stay safe and stay happy.